here in Hayes. We're getting ready to welcome in Rick Binder and some Thomas More Prep Marion students here in just a little bit, but make sure that you call in, answer that trivia question, or call in and make your pledge to 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110. You may also go to dvmercy.com. All right. We are starting to get our wonderful guests here in the studio. We have Mr. Rick Binder, who is a teacher out at Thomas More Prep Marion High School. And we also have, well, actually, I think you're now at the junior high level teaching there. So he's done a little bit of everything. We also have Connor Bright and Jenna Brule. So they are two young folks who went to NCYC this year. And so we're going to get into a conversation with them about what it was like and all kinds of other things that they may want to let us know about. So how are you folks doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Good to see you guys again.
Yeah, good to see you.
And I suppose that you're probably not too hurt that you had to get out of school for this.
Not necessarily.
What class are you guys missing?
English.
I'm missing study hall. So.
Oh, well then you could have maybe used this time, but
yeah.
No, God bless you guys. Thank you so very much for being here. All right, we're going to get into it here in just a second. Want to remind everybody once again, we've got that Carathon goal of $125,000. We have those people who donated and gave us matching funds. And those matching funds, the purpose of them are that people give them to us so that when you donate, your donation is automatically doubled. And being that we have over $40,000 in matching funds, we have a lot that we want to use up, and we want to use them up as early as possible, because what that does is that shows us that you want to partner with us in getting the gospel message out there. We have our 5 radio stations. We only have 2 employees. They do an amazing job. So check us out at dvmercy.com. Call us at 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110. And let's get those phones ringing. Let's ask that trivia question one more time. Then we're going to get to these young folks. What is the next holy day of obligation? Is it A, December 25th, B, December 8th, C, December 5th, the presentation of Jesus, or D, December 5th, the presentation of Mary? And actually, as I'm reading that, I see that I just got a message. Jeff Andrews wins the trivia question. So it's awesome that Jeff is listening because he has some things to do with our students that are here with us right now. So congratulations, Jeff. Thank you for listening. Correct answer there is December 8th, which is the Immaculate Conception. We're going to get Jeff put into that drawing. All right. Now, without further ado,
quick question, Cody.
Yeah.
Did Jeff get help from the bishop to answer that question?
Probably. We're going to say yes. He did a phone a friend on that. So, God bless you, Jeff. Thanks for putting up with us. All right. Call 785-621-4110. Let's get those phones ringing with those pledges. All right. Now on to Jenna Brule and Connor Bright. So first thing is, we all know that the Holy Spirit guides us in different ways. And sometimes mom made me go, dad made me go, friend drugged me there. I'm not sure. But what is it that you guys think called you to be at NCYC this year?
I just went last time, and I had such a good experience, and it was just a big thing for my faith in so many ways. And so I wanted to go again to get that and hopefully get more out of it.
Okay. And Jenna, what year are you in school?
A senior.
Okay. So you went when you were a sophomore, had a great experience, wanted to come back. Okay.
It's the same thing with me. I went when I was a sophomore, had a really good experience. And this year I wanted to bring my mom along with me to let her get that experience too. So, yeah.
Okay. So what is it if you said, back in my sophomore year, this is what I experienced that brought me back. So not just a general, yeah, it was a great experience, but is there something that you could point to back then that you were like, that really had an impact on me? And so this is why I wanted to go again. Could you pinpoint anything?
I would say definitely adoration, because that was like, we go to adoration almost every week at TMP, but just having that adoration with, I don't know, so many people, and it just felt so real. I don't know.
Okay.
I'd say pretty much the whole thing, whether it was adoration, mass, or the breakout speakers, or just meeting new people. It was just a great experience overall.
Okay, you guys still trade hats and things like that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. If you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe experience NCYC and you'll figure it out. So as you get ready to go to NCYC, there's a lot that is involved in it. And you guys still took the bus this year, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know that they're actually flying to the March for Life this year. Are you guys
Yeah.
going to the March for Life at all?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
am
okay.
too. Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty
okay.
excited for that.
So yeah, I mean, but now the bus ride was always part of the pilgrimage, but I understand why there's a lot that's going into why we're doing it this way. But that is part of it, is this pilgrimage, the preparing for it. So what are some things that you guys do to get yourself ready even to be able to go on this in the first place?
Honestly, just like the prayers beforehand, like I really like doing like morning prayer, night prayer. So just kind of doing that. And we usually do a rosary on the bus. We didn't do it this year, but doing that on the way there.
Okay, Connor.
I'd say praying too. Me and my mom prayed a decent amount for it and have a safe trip down and back. So that goes into it a lot, praying.
Okay, let me break in here really quickly. I want to thank Tony and Chris Gable. Tony was just in here a few minutes ago. They're from here in Hayes, and they pledged $250 toward our goal of $125,000. So thank you so very much, Tony and Chris. And I want to remind everybody that they will now get entered into that drawing at the end of the week for those wonderful prizes. And we thank everybody who donated those. Thank you once again, Tony and Chris Gable, for pledging $250 and helping us to get to that goal of $125,000 by the end of the week. If you would like to join with Tony and Chris, please call 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110. You can also go to dvmercy.com. And while you're there, we have a thermometer, and they'll get that updated, I think, at the end of every day. And that thermometer will then show you where we're at for donations. Remember, we do have those matching funds. So when you give, your donation will be doubled. Call 785-621-4110, and let's use up those matching funds. The people who give those to us, they give them to us for that specific reason, because they want you to partner with them in helping these radio waves continue evangelizing the world. 785-621-4110. All right. Talked a little bit about the process of what do you do before you get there, right? We like to pray and stuff like that. Very good. We want to do that. But also, what is it like when you hop on the bus at, what was it, 1:30 in the morning, something like that?
Yeah, sometimes.
You know, there's a little preparation there too. Like, oh man, this is, sometimes it goes through your mind like, what am I doing? It's 1:30 in the morning. So can you guys give us some insight into that too? What is it like to take the bus there? You know, give us some insight into the bus trip. What do you guys do? Is it just chaos? Is there a little bit of fun? Is it horrible? Anything that you guys want to talk about?
Honestly, it's not that bad. You get there at like 1 a.m., 1:30, get on the bus. So you're pretty much tired by then. So you sleep for most of the night. And then in the morning, you get to talk with friends, have conversations, maybe play cards if that's what you do. And it's a fun experience.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little chaotic. I mean, there's like everyone sleeping all over the floor and you try not to step out everywhere. But it was really fun. I like talking with the people, and it makes the time fly by fast with all those people.
And how long did it take you guys to get there? Do you know?
We got there around like 3:30, so yeah. I don't know
Okay.
how long that is.
So about 14 hours, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay. So as you're on the bus, then what are other things besides sleeping that you guys do to prepare for when you get there?
What we kind of did, me and my bus partner, we kind of went through what sessions we were going to go to. So like on the app, and you can go schedule. So we had pretty much everything made out and what we were going to do for each thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we looked at the breakout session, saw what we were interested in and what we wanted to attend. And then we just looked over the whole schedule of the thing and saw when things lined up and what our day-to-day would look like there.
Okay. So you arrive at NCYC, you hop off the bus, and what does it look like from there?
It's a little chaotic at first. You get there, you get all your stuff off, and you have to get in the hotel and you like huddle up in a group for a while until they can get you your lanyards and your wristband, because we needed a wristband for the first night since we were on the floor in the stadium. And you're sitting there for about 30 minutes, maybe, just all huddled up waiting to get into your room. It's a little chaotic.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. It was pretty fun though. I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, it is a little bit chaotic, and I understand that, and you know, part of that is because the sponsors that go with you, which your mom was a sponsor, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, and did you have any family go with you, Jenna?
No.
Okay, but the parents that go with you, they're the sponsors, and so they have to have several young people under their care, and so you got to make sure that everybody's where they're supposed to be. You don't want to lose anybody, right? Make sure that nothing bad is happening. They're not jumping out of windows or anything, right? Like Connor would never do something like that, though, right?
Of course not.
So yeah, you get there, it's a little bit of chaos. You get to your rooms, and then what goes on from there?
From there, we just kind of changed and we get ready for our first session, like our first big general session, which was in the stadium. So we had to walk back over there.
Okay, and so this is for those who don't know, this is at Lucas Oil Stadium, correct?
Yeah.
And how many people were there this year? Do they know?
I think they said like 16,000.
Yeah,
or something like
around
that.
16,000.
Okay, so that in and of itself is really cool.
Yeah.
Because you have 16,000 youth plus all the sponsors and priests and things like that. And so this is a huge gathering of Catholic faithful. Okay. And that first session that you go into, what is the first night like?
So that was like, they always have like a concert on the first night. And so it wasn't like a big concert, but it was super fun because like all the people on the floor get to go up to the front by the big stage and just dance and have fun. And that was really cool. And then we have like speakers after that.
Okay. And who was your headliner this year?
Like,
yeah. So who was the person who, do you guys remember who put on the show? Was it good?
yeah, it was good. It was Sister Elfie and this one other guy. I can't remember his name for some reason. I don't think so.
Okay, well,
Oh,
that part's not too terribly important.
Yeah.
I was just curious because, you know, if we're trying to give people a feel of what goes on, wanted them to be able to understand that you guys get there and you go to these main sessions. They're in this huge stadium. You guys on the first night got to go down to the floor, and you know, there's several hundred people down there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not just a Christian rock concert. All right. There's other things that happen on that first night. So what are some of the other things that happen?
We had like a few speakers who kind of talked about, I remember one of them talked about like the saints and kind of told stories. I really like that one.
Yeah, you have a couple speakers, then you have a main speaker at the end. And the main speaker was the one who was talking about saints and how like the saints aren't all perfect in general. She talked about different saints that had like bad, like early in their life, how they weren't like necessarily perfect and how they were bad people, but they changed their life around, turned to God, and became a saint.
Now, why do you guys think that's important for us?
I think that's because that's kind of where we're at in our lives, where even if we are not exactly where we want to be in our faith, then we still have a chance to turn around. I mean, we can't never, I'm digging myself a hole. I can't.
No, that's okay.
Never not turn ourselves around.
Okay, very good. So yeah, the hound of heaven is always going to pursue us.
Yes.
And so all we have to do is turn back toward him. And I thank you guys for bringing that up because one of my favorites, St. Augustine, he has a book and it's called The Confessions because that's literally what it is. He just bears his soul to all the things he did wrong in his early life until he finally made it to understanding, you know what, actually, truth is to be found in Christ and him alone. And it is through his church that I'm going to find salvation. And so it's really awesome because, you know, he's a doctor of the church. So here's a guy who in his early life, like you said, he was way off the rails. And for much of it, too, he was even fighting against the church in different heretical areas. But yet we can look at that and be like, OK, well, if he come around, maybe there's hope for me. And you guys are probably at a way better place right now than I was when I was your age. So thank you for being there. But I wanted to appreciate very much for you guys bringing that up and letting people out there know that, when you go to NCYC, that's part of the beauty of it, is being able to hear that there's other people like me out there, and then even be surrounded by them at the moment. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
I think it's just a beautiful thing, like getting there, seeing all 16,000 people and realizing you're not the only one out there. And you're realizing that a bunch of people out there too are struggling with different things in their life like you are, and it just gives you a whole new perspective on everything.
Jenna, do
Yeah.
you have anything?
I really agree with that. I mean, you just really put things into perspective, and you can see that there's 16,000 people exactly like you who just want to be with God and want to experience that moment.
That is awesome. You are listening to Divine Mercy Radio's Fall Carathon Light in the Darkness. We have some special guests here with us today, and these are a couple of our Thomas More Prep Marion students who went to NCYC, and we're going to get right back to them in just a minute. I want to remind everybody who is listening that we want to get those phones ringing. Call 785-621-4110 because this is our Fall Carathon. We do a carathon twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. And this is what helps us to keep the lights on. But more importantly, this is what helps us to continue proclaiming the gospel. There are so many people out there that need it. And right now we have this beautiful message coming from a couple of our young people, and really just giving us hope in that next generation that not all is lost. And there is great hope that they are wanting to see the light. They want to know the truth. They want to know Jesus better, and they want others to be able to do that also. So join with us and be partners with us in proclaiming that message. 785-621-4110. Remember, we do still have those matching funds. So if you would like to call and have your money immediately doubled, there's not very many places in this world where you get to use other people's money for free. This is one of them. 785-621-4110. And there is not a better cause than being able to put Jesus's message out there. Join with us, 785-621-4110. And let's see how many people we can help understand Jesus better. 785-621-4110. Let's get them ringing. Without further ado, let's get back to Jenna Brule and Connor Bright. So they're talking about NCYC. And we were discussing some of the different things that you guys experience while you're there. What else would you like people your age to know? This is what you can expect. This is why I get out of it. This is why I would recommend it to you.
I think it's just really important because it's such a big experience, and you should 100% go if you ever get the chance, because you just kind of go in with a mindset of you have no clue what's going to happen. And that's exactly what you should do, because I kind of went with that the first time and even the second time, knowing what's going to happen. And it was just so amazing to let God just come in and do his thing.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% recommend for people to go. I had a great time there the 2 years that I went. And like Jenna kind of said, you can't ever really expect what's going to happen. I mean, after you go one time, you know kind of the schedule and what's going to happen with the schedule, but the talks are different every year. You get a new message each time, and it's just great.
Could you guys expand on that a little bit? So I think that's really important also, is that you said, I mean, the first time you really don't know, except for what people tell you, what you're going to experience. But even after that, I love that you guys said, don't go into it with preconceived notions of, oh, I experienced this last time, so I'm going to experience it again. I think that's really important, because on one hand, you can set yourself up for failure. If you're like, well, I experienced that, I have to experience that again, otherwise it falls flat. No, that's not the purpose. So can you guys expand a little bit more on why do you think it is good to go in without preconceived notions? And what do you think it is that does cause different things to happen, not just having different speakers?
I think just having like that growing, changing personality and like who you are in your faith definitely changes things. And so it's always important to stay open, because even hearing from other experiences from people that went, everyone had a different part that really they liked, and you just can't even compare because it's so different for everyone.
Yeah, it's really a different experience for everyone. And I think people don't go a second time if they have the chance to sometimes because they think, oh, I already went. I'm going to experience the same stuff. I don't need to go again and experience that again, which is completely wrong. I mean, I experienced two different completely things each time. So you just really need to go both times.
Okay. And I think the big thing that you guys are pointing to is, the Holy Spirit is going to move you in different ways. And I really appreciate that you brought up that there's a difference between everybody. We'll get into a little bit what your favorite thing was, but there are some people that enjoy this but don't enjoy that, and vice versa. And that's really important, is to let the Holy Spirit be able to work in those moments and let him be able to open your eyes to what is beautiful. And so thank you once again for putting out there, don't go in with preconceived notions, just go in and let the Holy Spirit work. That's a beautiful thing. All right. I want to break in once again and thank the Knights of Columbus from Victoria. They just donated $750. And so if I can do my math right, that would be $1,500 with those matching funds. They are also challenging other Knights councils to donate. So thank you so very much to the Knights of Columbus from Victoria for donating that $750. Please call in like they did to 785-621-4110 and give us your pledge. That's 785-621-4110. You're listening to Divine Mercy Radio's Fall Carathon, Light in the Darkness. Please help us to be that light to others by donating and using up our matching funds today, 785-621-4110. You can also donate at dvmercy.com. And if you go there, you can look at the schedule for the week. You can look at the thermometer, and it'll show you exactly where we are at on our donations, where we want to be at the end of the week. And you can find all of our other local programming and different things. So please go check out dvmercy.com. Call us at 785-621-4110. You are listening to Divine Mercy Radio's Fall Carathon, Light in the Darkness, and we're talking with a couple of our Thomas More Prep Marian students about encountering Christ at NCYC. So back to Connor Bright and Jenna Brule. All right, I want to ask you guys now about the different talks. So one, what is it that made you choose the talks that you did? Two, what do you think are some of the most important things that you guys took out of these talks?
So I kind of chose the talks. I went through and I did look at like what it was about, but a lot that I looked at was who is giving it, like if I knew this person. And I mean, that was a really big thing for me because it's definitely more comfortable in knowing who speaks good and who is going to keep you engaged. But my favorite thing from the talks, we went to Steve Ingersano, and he told a lot of the stories that we've already heard from him before. And I love all of his stories, but he like sang a lot, which was really, that's what I love about my faith, is just getting to sing. But we did a lot of singing and dancing. That was really fun. And just getting to be in a big room with all of those people and share my faith with that many people.
Yeah, I say I look and I see if any of the talks like would relate to me. Like one of them, for instance, was "Help My Family's Driving Me Crazy." That was the name of the talk. And that one definitely kind of relates to me a little bit. So
now, are you the cause of that, or
maybe sometimes, but yeah. And then there's just, each talk is different. You don't get like the same experience. Like one of them is just a huge concert pretty much, and you just get to sing the whole time. And in between you talk about things a little bit, but it's a bunch of different Christian songs that you get to sing and participate in. And that speech was given by a DJ, a Christian DJ. So
okay,
it's kind of cool.
So can you guys talk a little bit about, because some people are into that, some people aren't. So there's a little bit of something for everybody, but no matter which session you go to, how do you kind of let your guard down a little bit? Because there is always, even as adults, we fight it, like, am I the only person here that is this into this, or you have all these different thoughts of what is everybody else doing? What is everybody else thinking? you fight that for your whole life, unfortunately. So how do you kind of go into that situation and say, you know what, I'm not going to worry about what everybody else is doing. I want to take out of this what the Spirit wants me to get out of it.
I think just totally, I mean, not ignoring everyone else, but just kind of blocking them out and doing what the Holy Spirit moves you to do, and just taking out of it what you want to take out of it and what really speaks to you, not really what other people are doing or thinking or whatever.
Okay, Connor.
I'd say that honestly, you don't really have to worry if you're the only one who's really in it for that reason, because there's people in there who are cheering after everything, clapping, just hooting and hollering. I mean, having a great time listening and all that. So I think you just need to, I think my thing was I just kind of match their energy and like get involved with them and that kind of stuff. So
Okay, so that's really awesome because, you know, some of it you do just got to let your guard down. So yeah, then on the other part of it, and you kind of answered this a little bit, Connor, is how do you then enter in with those who are there that are fired up and really want to engage their faith? What do you do to be a part of them also?
I think just kind of not caring, because I definitely cared like the first night. And then once everyone started like running up to the front and they were cheering and dancing, and I just kind of let everything down. And it was nice having that moment the first night, because I just felt it the rest of the nights where I could just be careless and not really care what other people are thinking about or doing.
yeah, I think everyone goes in there with a feeling of like, and I think everyone has this feeling of, am I going to get judged for these different things that I do? And once you get there and you notice everyone else is doing some of the stuff that you want to do and having a great time, and you kind of just let your guard down and join in.
No, that is really awesome because you get to just go, I just want to love Jesus. So how do I do that better while I'm here? Oh, look, those people are doing it.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot easier. So through experiencing that, and we'll go back and forth a little bit here, but in experiencing that, how do you then come home where maybe not everybody is loving Jesus the way that it was happening there? How do you come home and not let that fall flat? How do you carry that with you when you make it back?
I think just keeping that feeling that you had while you were there, remembering that and feeling that. And honestly, I think the majority of people gave them that feeling was like the music and everything. So I'm always listening to the music because it gives me that feeling, and it's just like a I love Jesus kind of moment.
I think you can also take back some of the stuff you learned from breakout sessions or just the main sessions and teach your friends about some of that stuff, and just go back remembering that stuff with a new fire lit under you, and just have the mindset of, I'm not going to let all that, what I learned, go to waste, and just completely go back on it and just keep going.
That is wonderful information from you, young man and young lady. Thank you so very much. Going to break in really quickly and do our second trivia question. So this trivia question, you call our donation line at 785-621-4110. If you know the answer to this and you get it right, we will put you into a drawing to a $50 gift certificate to Messenger Traditional Catholic Books and Gifts here in Hayes. Jerome and Angela Schmeidler are the owners. By the way, they just had another baby, and they finally had their first baby boy. And so I want to congratulate them on the air for that because they are such wonderful people. They do amazing things for our community. We thank them so much, and we thank them for their beautiful store and their beautiful family. Please support them and go down there to Messenger Traditional Catholic Books and Gifts, even if you don't win this. But to try and win that gift certificate, get your phones ready. 785-621-4110. Here we go. Who did God have build the temple in Jerusalem? Was it A, David, B, Nathan, C, Amos, or D, Solomon? Who did God have build the temple in Jerusalem? So this would be the first temple. A, David, B. Nathan, C. Amos, D. Solomon. 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110. And if you're watching online, hopefully you didn't get Mr. Rick Binder in the video there. If so, you probably got a pretty good clue. I think he was putting up hand signals. 785-621-4110. Don't worry about it, Mr. Binder. We will get a winner. 785-621-4110. You are listening to the Fall Carathon Light in the Darkness. We have that carathon goal of $125,000. We've got matching funds of over $40,000. We've got wonderful donors who have started us off, and we want you to continue and join with us. Call 785-621-4110. But without further ado, I want to get back to these young people because they are the generation that is going to continue carrying this message of Christ into the world. They're going to be those lights in the darkness that we need. And a lot of times they're more courageous than us old fogies. So let's take their energy. Let's use that energy to inspire us to go forward and proclaim the gospel. Also, we're talking with Jenna Brule and Connor Bright. They went to NCYC, gathering of over 16,000 young people and who just want to know Jesus, love Jesus better, and get that fire in them. They brought it back with them. And we left off talking about what do you take? How do you go from there? And Connor, you had mentioned that, you take some of those things from the breakouts and you hopefully don't let them go to waste. So I'm going to ask you guys kind of off the cuff here, not one of our pre-prepared questions. What are some of those things that you would say, all right, this breakout session, I think this was really important to me. This is something that now that I've made it back, I don't want this to fall off. I want to be able to use this in my own life. I want the Spirit to work in this way. Anything in those realms that you can tell us that you took from those sessions that now is going to help you in your spiritual life?
I went to this one session from Bishop J, and he was really amazing. One thing that I got was there were so many people just like during the session recording on their phones. And he would start picking them out and yelling at them, hey, like, put that phone down. And that's honestly one of the big things I'll take is we should just live in the moment because we are obviously there for a reason. God put us there, and there's something we need to take out of it. And I think that's probably what I needed to take out of it is to not be on my phone all the time and constantly living through a screen. Just be able to be open to what God is trying to tell me.
Fantastic. I want to stop really quickly. So Mrs. Pinckney wins the trivia question. The trivia question there was, who did God have build the temple in Jerusalem? The answer was Solomon. Congratulations to Mrs. Pinckney. I know that her son went to NCYC also, and she wins that trivia question, but also her classes are listening, or they're actually watching on the live feed here, so they can see us in here. And they're judging you right now. I'm just kidding. It is a blessing. See, that is the wonderful thing. We've got a couple of students from Thomas More Prep Marion in here. We've got Mrs. Pinckney and her classes watching the live feed as we're doing it. What a beautiful thing to have a matchup of our Catholic radio, our Catholic schools, and just the beautiful things that go on there. Thank you, Mrs. Pinckney, for allowing your students to watch. Thank you for calling in. We're going to get you put into that drawing. Now back to Jenna and Connor. So Connor, left the question to you. What's something that you took away from the breakout sessions? How are you going to use it?
I think it wasn't necessarily the breakout sessions I took from. It was adoration.
Okay.
I learned just kind of a new way to pray during adoration. I think that adoration was probably the best conversation I've ever had with God. I had the best conversation I ever had with God during that adoration. It really kind of moved me, and I just look at adoration in a new way now, in a new and profound way to say.
What did he tell you? No, I'm kidding. That's between you and him. No, but can you go deeper into that? I've been there. I've experienced adoration there. And when you ask young people, what was your favorite thing? A lot of them do say that, which is really awesome, because what a lot of people are saying is time with Jesus was my favorite thing. And you can do that anywhere, but there is something very special about adoration that happens there. Do you guys want to delve a little bit into that? What is so moving? What's so important? Why do you think adoration has such a big impact on people who go to NCYC?
Well, I think for my experience, I went to confession first. I like to go to confession when I go to adorations. And I got back to my seat, did my what's it called?
Penance.
Penance,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was kind of kneeling there, and I just thought to myself, like, because when I usually go to adoration, I just kind of think of random things. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna talk to God this time and see what happens. And I did, and it was amazing. I felt a lot better inside, and I could feel him talking to me and hear him talking to me, and it was great.
That is such a blessing and awesome gift. And I also want to thank you very much for bringing up. First thing Connor did was went to confession. So that's so important. That's such an underused sacrament by so many people. So what a blessing. Thank you for the gift of that, and to remind us that, if I want to hear from my Lord, probably reconciling my sins is a good place to start, because then our relationship can be healed and we can move from there. Jenna, what about you?
That was definitely the most amazing part of the entire conference, because, I mean, I just could feel him sitting right next to me because he was so close. And I could definitely feel him talking to me. That conversation that we had during adoration was one of the deepest and most profound, because it was just, I could feel the presence right there. And I want to take that back and remember that even in our small chapel TMP confession, knowing that that's the exact same thing that I experienced.
That is really cool, because as you guys are sitting here talking, the one thing that we can all hear from that is, everybody always talks about this personal relationship with Jesus, which we need to have. But you guys are talking about really living it in that moment of being able to say, no, I was talking to him. He was talking to me. And we don't have to get into the specifics, but that's a really awesome witness that you guys have, especially Jenna, as you say, we can go to adoration no matter where we're at. And if we can just understand that you have that same relationship right there, no matter what church you're in. All right, now back to NCYC. I've always found also that the Mass is a beautiful thing. Can you guys can you explain the experience of Mass to those who haven't experienced it before?
Yeah, so it was like, I don't want to say it was a normal Mass, because it was so big and so amazing, because there's so many priests and you were just like, wow. And but like also receiving the Eucharist, I saw him right there and I was like, that's seriously Jesus right there. And that was just a really amazing thing for me, because that's really where the adoration and the Mass lined up, and I really saw him.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, I'd say the Mass is extraordinary. I mean, seeing like the songs and the hymns and everyone in there singing to them, when you have like a Mass at your normal parish, some people don't sing, but it feels like everyone there was singing and everyone was involved in the Mass. And it's a beautiful thing.
That is a beautiful thing. Thank you so much. You hear that, folks? Sing at Mass. Yes, it is. It's amazing, because as we talked earlier, God made us as a community. And as a community, when we lift our voices together, when we worship together, that really does bring to a full awareness of what the Mass is. We're worshiping God, but yet we're worshiping him together. And it helps to solidify the importance of us as a community. All right, we are in here talking with Jenna Brule and Connor Bright about their experience at NCYC. We are on our fall carathon of Light in the Darkness, and they're helping us to shine some light on the beauty of Christ, the Mass, the holy sacrifice of the Mass, adoration, how those two things come together. And so this has been a wonderful conversation, which we're going to get right back to. But I want to remind everybody that as you're listening and as we are taking part in this week-long carathon, our goal is $125,000. Part of that is that it helps us to fund our live streams, which we're on right now. It also helps us to do things like our new interview series that Michael and I have started. And we were able to go to TMP and do one of these about Thanksgiving. So there's all kinds of wonderful things. There's local programming that we have. Go to our website and you can see that there. But the way that we do all of those things is because you guys are such wonderful donors. Thank you so very much for everything you do. We couldn't do it without you. If you want to partner with us, or if you want to up your donations that you already give, call 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110, or go to dvmercy.com. You can donate in either places. 785-621-4110. Let's get back to talking with Jenna Brule and Connor Bright about NCYC. All right. So we've talked about adoration. We've talked about mass. We've talked about the overlap between those. Was there anything else that you guys took away from NCYC that you wanted to share with our listening audience?
I think just seeing everyone there and everyone around your age, like loving Jesus in the way that you do, is just so amazing. Because some people these days, they think that, well, kids my age aren't like this, and it's just not true at all. There's so many people out there, like 16,000 people that went there, and plenty more around the world that just love Jesus the way that you do, and it's beautiful.
I'd say, yeah, just definitely being in that energetic and young environment where you get to share how you feel and what you believe with so many other people. It's such a blessing to be able to do that, and it's so amazing. And yeah, I don't know.
So what's another thing then that could help us as you guys come back? How can we help to transform our own schools, parishes, and things like that with the energy that you've taken from NCYC? How do you bring that back and once again not worry so much about what others are doing and what others are thinking?
I think just trying to be that light in the darkness is a huge thing. Like you see people kind of not respecting the faith or something like that, like they should be, bring it up and talk to them about it and try to teach them the ways and teach them what you heard and what you experienced, and just be the light in the darkness.
Yeah, I'd say definitely participate in mass. Don't be afraid, because that's something we've definitely all felt, but I've been able to overcome that, thank goodness to NCYC. And I love singing in mass, and I feel like we should all participate and read along and lead the liturgy and be part of it.
So how much courage does it take to sing at a school mass?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. One of my favorite stories, though, is from somebody who's a priest in our diocese now, that said that he finally sang at mass one time, one verse, because he looked up and saw a senior football player who was singing at mass, and was like, oh man, if he can do it, maybe I can do it. And it built from there. So what is it that you guys also can do to help other people build their faith?
I think being like you said, like in mass, like singing and doing this stuff and having other people see you doing this, so then they're like maybe they've been wanting to do this, but they feel kind of, I don't know what the word is, but like that
shy, nervous.
Yeah, shy,
take
nervous.
Your pick.
Yeah, to do it, and then they see someone else doing it, and they're like, wow, maybe I can do this too. And I think you just need to show people that you can do it without being scared or anything.
Man up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just being a role model in that way, and even telling others, be like, will you sing at mass with me? Will you be a gift bearer? Will you, I don't know. And just pushing other people, giving them a reason to say yes.
That's a really good point, because sometimes we don't realize that people may be willing to do something, but they've never been asked. And we ourselves, maybe we don't do something because we haven't been asked. So that is a really good point for those out there. One, if you're listening, if you're watching, put yourself out there as, hey, maybe I could do this. Or if you're somebody who's in charge of, are either of you guys on the ministry team?
Oh, I am.
Okay, so you're on the ministry team. So you're already involved in this then, in being able to go around the school and ask, can you do this? Can you do this? And inviting new people who maybe are nervous, but hey, we'll get you through it. And actually, a side note, the only person that can really invalidate the mass is the priest. I heard somebody say this recently, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's good to know, because then it takes some of the pressure off. Like, if you make a mistake, it's not the worst thing in the world, right? Do your best, will help you along from there. So have a little bit of courage. All right. So I am really excited also to hear, are there other things that you guys want to put out there? We've got about 10, 15 minutes left here of stuff that you took away from NCYC that you think is important for other people, either to say, hey, I think you need to experience it for this, or I experienced this and I want you to know, because this is going to help you in your faith life.
I'd say definitely experiencing that adoration and that mass was super important both times, but just go and experience it for yourself, because I know what I experienced is definitely not what other people experienced. Just being open, let the Holy Spirit move in you, and yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I recommend people to go 100%. It's a great time, great experience for everyone. And I say listen to what other people tell you their experience was, but don't go in there expecting the same experience as they had, because everyone has a different experience and it's great for everyone. So, yeah.
So you can't know until you go.
Yeah.
So that is important. Yeah. Once again, as we've said, don't have preconceived notions, and just get the courage to go and see what the Lord has planned for you.
Mhm.
Awesome. So were there other breakout sessions besides the ones that you guys mentioned that had an impact also?
I went to this one. It was like overcoming anxiety and stuff. And I think that kind of deals with how we participate in mass, and we don't think about what other people are thinking, because we're our own, oh my gosh. We are our own person, and we need to just do what we want to do, and even be a role model to other people of just singing and participating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say there's one that's just pretty much talked about being yourself, and don't go along with what other people are doing if it's not you. Like, don't go along with what all the popular kids are doing, something like that. If it's not good, just be yourself. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone.
Okay. I want to further that point, and I want to thank you for bringing that up. Why do you think that is so important? Just even if we're not talking about our spiritual life, just talking about our life in general, about being the person that God created us to be, and not having the anxiety of, I have to fit this cardboard cutout.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids these days have the thing where I need to act like this to be able to get friends, or I won't have friends, which isn't true at all. You'll find friends if you just act yourself. Like, you'll find people who will care about you and be a really good friend to you, and you don't need to change the way you are to find friends, because you'll find people for you.
I think that's really important, because you know, you say a lot of kids, a lot of adults too. we fall into that same trap where we're still like, yeah, do I really put myself out there? That's going to take some guts. But so very important. Some wisdom from you, young man. Thank you very much for that. For all of our listeners, not just young, but even Mr. Binder, he's like, wow, look at that. So we got the Holy Spirit moving in here a little bit. Jenna, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just definitely not confining yourself to something you're not, because we're all such different people and we have so many different gifts. If you try to give gifts that you don't have, then you're totally disregarding the gifts that you do have. And I think that's a big thing we need to remember.
Wow, that is awesome wisdom also. And even to the point, even more, is if we're always looking at pleasing others, we're always going to be changing who we are then, aren't we? We're never going to be able to, like you said, Connor, to be able to just put ourselves out there for who we truly are, which you said, one of you said that, yeah, you went on to this one that was talking about anxiety and how to overcome it and stuff like that. That's one of those really good ways. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about being what somebody else wants you to be. Be who God created you to be. So, do you guys have anything to say on that?
I'd say, yeah, just pretty much what I said before. Be who you are and who God wanted you to be, and you'll find your way in life and find things that you find interesting and find people who find stuff that you find interesting too, and you'll become good friends with those people, and you'll have a great life.
Yeah, they'll be drawn to
Yeah.
you. So if you guys had a chance to go again, would you go again?
Yes.
For sure. If it's being a supervisor or anything like that, I definitely want to go again. It's a great experience.
Okay, and I don't know, I've never been there, but I believe that once you get to college, you've got Seek that you could go to that's kind of like that, but for the college age group. So is that something that maybe you guys would even look into going when you get to college?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so is there any other advice then? We've got a few minutes left that you want to give to any students who are considering going to NCYC, which will be in another 2 years, correct?
Yep.
Mhm. My advice is just go. Don't listen to people saying that it won't be fun and blah 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 and you need to stay back. My advice is go and have the experience for yourself. Don't listen to someone else's experience and think, oh well, that wouldn't be me. Just have the experience for yourself, and you won't regret it.
Okay.
So just definitely go, be present, live in the moment, and don't be afraid.
Awesome. What good advice from these young folks. All right, I'm going to turn it over then to Mr. Binder here for just a couple minutes. We want to thank him for his time taking out of his day. And Mr. Binder, even though you didn't go this time, you've been to many youth conferences before.
10
of them. And, they're all a little bit different. So would you be able to speak to the importance of, what is it that makes it something that we should seek these opportunities out?
Well, I think these two young adults did a great job of already explaining that. It becomes very difficult to put into words what you actually feel in your heart when you encounter Christ in a profound way. They did a great job, but until you actually go yourself, as they said, you can't really fully appreciate what they're talking about. That encounter with Christ will never find all the words to really explain it to somebody else. I've been to NCYC 10 times. I can tell you the first one was in 2003 in Houston, Texas, and it had a profound impact on me. Not just the youth, not just the students that went, but on all the adults. I think Connor would tell you that his mom probably had an amazing few days. I believe that Jenna's parents have gone in the past at different times. I can't remember for sure. I've been to so many, I don't remember all the people that are gone. But again,
you're not that old, are you?
Yeah, I'm getting there, Cody. But it impacts everyone in a great way. If, as these two said, you are fully present and allow the Holy Spirit to work in your life. I think NCYC is a great thing. But why it carries over? They talked about continuing to let it grow in them, the experience, being present at Mass, participating, but more importantly, going out and seeking those opportunities to be the person God created you to be. No, both of these young adults are going to go on the March for Life in January. I know for a fact Connor will be his 4th time, and Jenna? Second time. Yeah. So as students, Connor, he just talked about out in the lobby about basketball, and that's an important thing to him. He's part of the team, but he hasn't made those kinds of things the priority in his life. He's made being present to God and saying life matters, things matter, other people matter. Jenna's head cheerleader. She's the same boat, middle of basketball season. And she said, being a cheerleader is important, but life is more important. I want to go and do these things. And they're both great witnesses of faith, not just in their experience of NCYC, but in general. We had 48 students from TMP go to NCYC, which is a significant portion of our student body. They're involved in ministries. Jenna's on the ministry team. Connor, as a senior, steps up and is a server at Mass, which is a great witness to the younger men that it matters to him and wants to be involved. So they continue to be those witnesses of faith in great ways. And I believe things like NCYC is kind of that springboard for them at a young age. They both went as sophomores. Go at that young age. It's kind of that big pep rally, that springboard of, wow, my faith is great and I want to live it, instead of, ooh, I'm scared to live it because somebody else might think I'm uncool or whatever that might be. So I just experience these things. Go. Perhaps you could be the person that went, and I've been 10 times. I've helped get, I'm going to say, well over 1,000 people there in my time. And I can't think of anyone that came back and said, oh boy, I wasted my weekend. I really wish I had done something else. It usually turns out really great. So great that it used to be 25,000 people would attend. It was every other year. Now it's every year, but they have one in California on the off years that they have one in Indianapolis, so they could accommodate more people. So they have a great big NCYC in California next year. We go to the one in Indianapolis because it's accessible. Still 16,000 people there, even though we've divided it in half now. So there are a lot of energy in our young people, a lot of energy for their faith, a lot of desire to be genuine, authentic people that God created them to be. And I'm super proud of these two young adults, but all of our kids at TMP and all of our young generation that are out there really seeking opportunities to be who God created them to be.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Jenna, Connor, Mr. Binder. We appreciate your time. And thank you for skipping school to be able to come do that. Once again, thank you to all those watching on our live platforms. Also, we appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You too.
You're listening to Divine Mercy Radio's Fall Carathon, Light in the Darkness. This is one of our 2 carathons that we do every year. We do one in the